HD channel. Today's video is going to blow your mind. We're diving deep into the world of rare American currency to uncover the top 25 most expensive and rare Lincoln Wheat 1-cent pennies that have been found across the United States. These small copper coins may look ordinary at first glance, but don't let appearances fool you. Some of these pennies have sold for millions of dollars at auction. And who knows, you might just have one hiding in your pocket change or old coin jar. So grab your magnifying glass and let's begin the countdown of the most valuable Lincoln Wheat pennies ever discovered, starting with number 25. Today's exciting video, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and potentially valuable coins in American numismatic history, the 1940s Lincoln Wheat penny. That's right, this seemingly small copper coin with an S mint mark could be worth thousands of dollars today, and in some cases, even more than $18,000. So, if you've got a jar of old pennies lying around or inherited a box of coins from your grandparents, this is one episode you absolutely do not want to miss. Let's explore everything about this hidden gem, from its origin and minting history, to the features that make it so collectible, and finally, the current market value that might just blow your mind. First, let's set the stage with a little background. The Lincoln Wheat penny was introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person and quickly became one of the most iconic coins in American history. The wheat stalks on the reverse of the coin symbolized America's agricultural strength and productivity, and this design remained in circulation until 1958. Now, fast forward to the year 1940. The world was on the brink of major turmoil as World War II raged across Europe. Here in the United States, the economy was slowly climbing out of the Great Depression, and the U.S. Mint continued to produce billions of coins to support a rapidly growing economy. During this time, the San Francisco Mint struck millions of Lincoln Wheat pennies, and among those, the 1940s Wheat penny was born. In terms of mintage numbers, the 1940s saw a production of approximately 112,940,000 coins. That might sound like a lot, and you're right, it is. But here's where things get interesting. While millions were minted, only a tiny fraction of those coins survive today in uncirculated or mint state condition. And when it comes to coin collecting, condition is everything. A worn-down penny might be worth only a few cents, but a high-grade 1940s Lincoln Wheat penny can be worth thousands, or even tens of thousands, depending on rarity, quality, and demand. Let's talk about the physical features of the 1940s Lincoln Wheat penny. It was struck in bronze, consisting of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. It weighs 3.11 grams and has a diameter of 19 millimeters. On the obverse side, you'll see the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln facing right, with the words, "In God We Trust." Above his head, Liberty, to the left, and the year 1940 to the right, along with the all-important S mint mark just below the date. The reverse side features two stylized wheat ears along the edges, with 1 cent and United States of America boldly displayed in the center, along with the motto, E Pluribus Unum, at the top. What sets the 1940s apart is its scarcity in pristine condition. Many of the coins from that era were heavily circulated, often handled by countless people over the decades. This constant usage left many coins scratched, nicked, and dulled. So when a 1940s penny appears in near-perfect, uncirculated condition, collectors go wild. And that's where the big money comes in. According to recent auction data and professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC, a 1940s Lincoln Wheat penny graded MS67 red has fetched astounding prices at auction. In fact, the current market value for one in top-tier condition has reached a jaw-dropping $18,266. Yes, you heard that right, a single 1-cent coin selling for more than $18,000. That's not just pocket change. That's life-changing money for some lucky collectors. Now, let's talk about what factors determine the value of a 1940s Wheat penny. First and foremost, grade is key. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale, with MS60 and above considered mint state. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. Most high dollar 1940s pennies are found in the MS-66 or MS-67 range, and what really boosts their value is the presence of full red color. Over time, copper coins tend to darken or tone, so finding a coin with its original bright red luster is extremely rare and highly desirable. Next is strike quality and eye appeal. A well-struck coin with sharp details, no blemishes, and strong luster will command a premium. Add in a strong market, and you have a recipe for some serious profits. Even coins in slightly lower grades like MS-64 or MS-65 can still sell for hundreds or thousands, especially if they retain strong red coloration. Another factor to consider is errors and varieties. While the 1940s isn't known for major minting errors, you should still be on the lookout for die cracks, doubled dies, repunched mint marks, and off-center strikes. Any unique variation can dramatically increase the value. Always inspect your coins with a good magnifying glass or take them to a professional if you suspect something unusual. So, what should you do if you think you have a 1940s Lincoln wheat penny in your possession? First, check the date and look for the S mint mark under the ear. Then, assess the condition. If it looks bright, has no visible wear, and shows sharp details, you might be sitting on a small fortune. The next step is to have the coin professionally graded. Submitting it to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC can authenticate the coin and assign it an official grade, which is crucial if you want to sell it for top dollar. Now let's look at the current market demand. In recent years, coin collecting has surged in popularity, with collectors and investors alike searching for valuable pieces to add to their collections or portfolios. The 1940s Lincoln wheat penny, especially in high grades, has become one of the most sought-after coins from the pre-war era. Auction records continue to climb, and with each passing year, fewer high-quality specimens remain in private hands. That scarcity, combined with nostalgia and investment interest, keeps driving up prices. And remember, even if your coin doesn't fetch the full $18,266, it could still be worth far more than face value. Some moderately circulated 1940s pennies can still bring in $5, $10, or even $50, depending on condition and toning. To wrap it all up, the 1940s Lincoln wheat penny is a perfect example of why it's worth taking a second look at the change in your pocket or that dusty old coin jar on your shelf. What may seem like an ordinary penny could actually be a rare and valuable collector's item. With the right condition and a little bit of luck, your humble 1-cent coin might just turn into a 5-figure treasure. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on more incredible coin discoveries. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare penny or have a coin you'd like us to cover in a future video. Until next time, happy hunting and keep checking those pennies. You never know what treasures you might find. Today's episode is all about one of the most fascinating coins in American history, the 1940 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny. You might just have one of these little copper beauties hiding in your change jar or tucked away in an old drawer, and you have no idea it could be worth a small fortune. So grab your magnifying glass and let's dive into the incredible story behind this historic penny, its value, and how it could be worth up to $13,333 today. Let's begin with a bit of history. The Lincoln wheat penny series was introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this coin replaced the Indian head cent and was the first regular-issue U.S. coin to feature a real person. And what better choice than Abraham Lincoln himself? The obverse side proudly displays Lincoln's profile, while the reverse has the iconic wheat ears surrounding the words, 1 cent, and United States of America. That's why they're called wheat pennies. Now, focusing on the year 1940. America was just beginning to recover from the Great Depression, and World War II was looming across the Atlantic. During this time, the U.S. Mint was still producing the Lincoln wheat penny with a composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. That year, the Philadelphia Mint struck hundreds of millions of these coins, and the ones minted there had no mint mark, that's right, no letter under the date. So if your penny says 1940 and there's no small letter like D or S under the date, it came from the Philadelphia Mint. At first glance, the 1940 no mint mark wheat penny might not seem particularly rare. In fact, over 586 million were minted in Philadelphia alone that year. So how on earth can this coin be worth thousands of dollars today? The answer lies in condition, rarity of high-grade examples, and unique errors. Let's talk condition first. The majority of 1940 pennies have been heavily circulated. They've been through pockets, piggy banks, cash registers, and countless hands over the decades. Most show signs of wear, discoloration, and nicks. But on rare occasions, some of these coins have survived in pristine condition, either because they were saved by collectors early on or stored in controlled environments. A coin that is graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC as being in mint state, especially MS67 or higher, can command serious value at auction. We're talking thousands and even five figures for one tiny penny. Coins with strong details, shiny red luster, and absolutely minimal marks are the gold standard in copper collecting. Combine that with the historical significance of 1940, and you've got a hot commodity on your hands. But that's not all. Some 1940 no mint mark Lincoln wheat pennies also have rare die errors that dramatically increase their value. We're talking about double dies, off-center strikes, repunched mint marks. Even though there's no mint mark in this case, sometimes coins show ghost impressions or mechanical errors during the minting process. If your coin has doubling on Lincoln's face, the date, or the lettering on the reverse, you might be looking at a very rare and valuable specimen. Now let's get down to the juicy part, the value. In average circulated condition, the 1940 no mint mark Lincoln wheat penny is usually worth just a few cents to maybe $1. In fine to extremely fine condition, you might get between $1 and $5. But here's where it gets exciting. High-grade uncirculated examples have been sold for hundreds and even thousands of dollars. And in one of the most jaw-dropping sales on record, a pristine example of the 1940 Lincoln wheat penny with no mint mark sold for a staggering $13,333 at auction. Yes, you heard that right. Over $13,000 for a single penny. What made that particular coin so valuable? It was graded MS68 red, which is an incredibly rare condition. The coin had bright, original red luster, zero visible flaws, and sharp details. It was like it had just come off the minting press yesterday. That level of quality is what serious collectors dream of. Combine that with the historical intrigue of pre-World War II America and the sheer beauty of the wheat penny design, and you've got a collector's item that's worth its weight in gold. And then some. So, what should you do if you think you have a 1940 no mint mark Lincoln penny? First, examine it closely. Look at the date. Check for a mint mark under the date. If there's none, that's a good sign. Next, look at the condition. If it looks uncirculated, shiny, or unusually well preserved, it might be worth getting professionally graded. And don't forget to check for any doubling, off-center strikes, or odd characteristics that could point to a rare error. These tiny details can mean big money. And here's a tip: use a jeweler's loupe or a coin microscope to examine the surface. Look for strong definition on Lincoln's beard and coat. Look at the wheat stalks on the back. Are they crisp and detailed, or worn and flat? All of this can help you determine the coin's grade and potential value. Remember, rare coins are like hidden time capsules. Each one tells a story, of the economy, of history, of craftsmanship. The 1940 no mint mark Lincoln wheat penny is more than just copper and zinc. It's a piece of America's past, and in the right condition, it's also a piece of someone's future wealth. So check your pockets, go through that jar of old change, and ask your grandparents if they have any old pennies lying around. Because somewhere out there, another high-grade 1940 wheat penny could be waiting to be discovered, and it just might be worth $13,333. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into coin history and value, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a treasure hunting tip. Until next time, keep collecting and keep dreaming, because even a penny can change your life. Today, We're diving deep into one of the most iconic and sought-after coins in American numismatic history, the 1941 no-mint Mark Lincoln Wheat Penny. This humble little coin might look ordinary at first glance, but believe me, once you understand its backstory, rarity, and the kind of money it can command today, you'll never look at pocket change the same way again. So sit back, relax, and get ready to uncover the secrets of a coin that could be hiding in plain sight, right in your change jar or tucked away in your grandfather's drawer. Yes, we're talking about a coin that is now worth as much as $10,298 in today's market. Let's rewind the clock back to the year 1941. The United States was on the brink of entering World War II, and America was already feeling the tremors of global tension. Factories were running at full speed, preparing for war production, and millions of Americans were adjusting to life during a time of international uncertainty. During this era, the U.S. Mint continued its regular coinage operations, and among the coins produced that year was the Lincoln Wheat Cent, also known as the Lincoln Wheat Penny. The Lincoln Cent had already been in circulation since 1909, originally created to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The obverse of the coin features a profile portrait of President Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, while the reverse showcases two wheat ears framing the words, 1 cent, and United States of America. The wheat design remained on the back of the penny until 1958, and these wheat pennies have since become a beloved collector's item due to their historical significance and nostalgic design. Now let's talk about the 1941 no-mint mark version specifically. This penny was minted in Philadelphia, which traditionally did not use a mint mark on its coins during that time period. That means if you have a 1941 penny and it does not have a small D or S under the date, standing for the Denver or San Francisco mints respectively, it was made at the Philadelphia Mint. And although millions of these coins were struck, over 887 million to be exact, there are some incredibly rare and valuable specimens that have fetched jaw-dropping prices at auctions and in private sales. So what makes a 1941 no-mint mark wheat penny worth more than $10,000? It all comes down to condition, rarity, and in some cases, minting errors. Most 1941 wheat pennies are worth just a few cents if they're circulated and show significant wear. But the game changes completely when you find one in pristine condition. Collectors are always on the hunt for coins that have been preserved in near-perfect or uncirculated condition. These are coins that have never been spent, never tossed in a pocket, never jingled in a change purse. A 1941 no-mint mark wheat penny that has been graded by a professional grading service as mint state, particularly in grades MS66 or MS67 with full red color, designated as red or RD in the grading world, is incredibly scarce. These coins display vibrant copper-red luster and are virtually flawless under magnification. And it's this level of preservation that pushes their value into the stratosphere. In fact, one such example, a 1941 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat penny graded MS67 red, was recently valued at a staggering $10,298. Yes, you heard that correctly. A 1-cent coin now worth over $10,000, simply because it survived the past 80 years in nearly perfect condition. But there's more to the story. Some rare varieties of the 1941 penny are even more valuable because of minting errors or die variations. For example, there are known double die obverse versions, where the lettering on the front of the coin appears doubled under magnification. These error coins are extremely desirable and can fetch several thousands of dollars depending on their condition and clarity of the doubling. Another factor that drives the value of a 1941 Lincoln penny is its overall eye appeal. Even among high-grade coins, collectors will pay a premium for coins that have strong strike details, deep luster, and no distracting spots or blemishes. Coins that have been carefully preserved in original rolls, albums, or coin holders often show up at auctions and turn heads with their incredible beauty. So what should you do if you think you have a 1941 Lincoln Wheat penny in your possession? First, look closely at the date. Make sure there's no mint mark under the year. If it's blank, you're holding the Philadelphia version. Next, examine the coin's condition. Is it heavily worn, or does it still shine with some of its original red copper color? The better the condition, the more valuable it might be. If it looks unusually well preserved, it's time to take the next step and have it professionally graded. Coin grading services like PCGS or NGC can assign an official grade to your coin, which gives collectors and buyers confidence in its authenticity and quality. A high grade can multiply the value of your coin many times over. And who knows? You might be holding a 5-figure treasure and not even realize it. Now, let's put this into perspective. A single 1941 penny, something you could have overlooked as worthless pocket change, has sold for more than $10,000. That's more than some used cars. That's a down payment on a house. That's a dream vacation. And it's all because a small piece of copper with Abraham Lincoln's face managed to survive decades in immaculate condition. So keep your eyes open. Check those old jars, that dusty change box, or the collection you inherited from your grandparents. The next time you come across a wheat penny, especially one from 1941 with no mint mark, take a second look. It might just change your life. Thanks for watching, coin lovers. If you enjoyed this video and want more content about rare and valuable coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a future episode. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare wheat penny, or if you have a story to share. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, happy collecting and keep hunting for treasure, because sometimes the smallest coins hold the biggest secrets. Today's episode is going to blow your mind because we're diving deep into the history and current market value of one of the most fascinating and valuable pennies ever minted in the United States, the 1942 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny. At first glance, it might look like an ordinary copper coin. But don't be fooled. This simple-looking cent, struck over 80 years ago, has become a hidden gem in the world of numismatics. And in some rare cases, it's worth up to $14,790. That's right, just one of these pennies could change your life. Let's start with a bit of history. The year was 1942. America was fully engaged in World War II. Resources were being diverted to support the war effort, and the U.S. Mint was operating under intense demand. Millions of coins were needed for commerce, and yet every ounce of metal was being scrutinized. The Lincoln wheat penny, first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, was still being struck in its familiar copper and zinc alloy. These coins were small but mighty symbols of American resilience and unity during one of the toughest times in history. The Philadelphia Mint, which produced coins without a mint mark, struck hundreds of millions of pennies in 1942. But here's where things get interesting. While many of those coins were standard issue, some of them had slight variations in strike, condition, and metal composition. Combine that with over 8 decades of circulation, loss, and damage, and suddenly the surviving high-grade examples become incredibly scarce and valuable. The 1942 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny is one such example. Its design features the classic image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, with the words, "In God we trust." Above his head, Liberty, to his left, and the date 1942 to his right. On the reverse, we see the iconic twin wheat stalks framing the words, 1 cent, and United States of America, along with the motto, E pluribus unum, at the top. The artistry is simple, yet deeply meaningful, reflecting a time of patriotism, sacrifice, and hope. Now let's talk about what makes this coin so valuable. First and foremost, condition is everything. If you have a 1942 Lincoln wheat penny that has been heavily circulated, scratched, or worn down, it's likely only worth a few cents to a few dollars. But if your coin is in uncirculated or mint state condition, especially graded MS65 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, then you could be sitting on a small fortune. One recently sold at auction for a staggering $14,790. Imagine that, a 1-cent coin commanding nearly $15,000 simply because it has survived in pristine condition through decades of history. Collectors are always on the lookout for coins with strong strikes, original luster, and minimal surface marks. The 1942 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny in such condition is incredibly rare. Even rarer are the proof-like strikes and coins that may have unique die errors or doubling, which can increase their value even further. So when examining your coin, look closely for sharp details, especially around Lincoln's beard, hair, and jacket, as well as clean and legible lettering on both the obverse and reverse. If your coin appears to be in unusually great shape, it might be worth having it graded professionally. Now here's another important aspect. Because so many 1942 pennies were made, over 657 million at the Philadelphia Mint alone, most of them were used and abused in everyday transactions. They were dropped, scratched, rubbed down, and tossed in pockets, jars, and drawers. Very few were stored or preserved carefully. That's why mint-state examples are extremely hard to find today. And when you combine rarity with strong collector demand, prices naturally skyrocket. It's the simple law of supply and demand. And with more people getting into coin collecting every day, the market has never been hotter. Another factor driving up the value is the historical context. Coins from the World War II era hold a special place in American history. They represent a time of struggle and victory. Many collectors focus specifically on wartime coinage, especially coins minted just before the composition change in 1943, when the U.S. switched from copper to steel pennies to conserve copper for the war. That makes the 1942 copper penny one of the last of its kind before a major transition in U.S. minting history. And that's just another reason why this coin is so important. If you're lucky enough to find a 1942 no-mint Mark Lincoln wheat penny in your pocket change, coin jar, or an old family collection, don't dismiss it. Take a close look. Get a magnifying glass. Compare it to online references. And if it looks clean and sharp, consider having it graded. Even if it's not worth 5 figures, it could still be worth hundreds or even thousands depending on the grade and condition. So to all the coin enthusiasts, collectors, and treasure seekers watching today, here's the key takeaway. Never underestimate the value of what seems like a common coin. The 1942 no-mint Mark Lincoln wheat penny is a perfect example of hidden treasure. While millions were made, very few have survived in high-grade condition, and the finest examples have fetched as much as $14,790 on the open market. That's life-changing money for something that once bought a piece of candy. Keep your eyes open, keep searching through your change, and never stop learning about the rich and rewarding world of coin collecting. Because who knows? The next time you're going through that old coin jar, you might just strike copper gold. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1942 Lincoln wheat penny, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a chance to discover the next rare coin that could be sitting right under your nose. Today, we're taking a closer look at a coin that many collectors dream of finding in their pocket change, the legendary 1944 no-mint Mark Lincoln wheat penny. This coin might look ordinary to the untrained eye, but believe me, it holds a story, a legacy, and a staggering value that could reach up to $15,555. Yes, you heard that right. Just one of these little copper pieces can be worth more than a brand new car. Let's begin with the history of this incredible coin. The Lincoln wheat penny was first minted in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first time a real person appeared on a regular issue U.S. coin, and it was a big deal. The obverse or front of the coin features a side profile of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. On the reverse side, you'll find 2 wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent and United States of America, which is why these coins are commonly referred to as wheat pennies. Now fast forward to the year 1944. The world was still engulfed in the events of World War II, and the U.S. Mint was making adjustments to its coin production. In 1943, due to a shortage of copper needed for war materials, pennies were made from zinc-coated steel. But the public didn't like them. They rusted easily and were often mistaken for dimes. So in 1944, the mint returned to using copper, but there was a twist. Much of the copper used came from recycled shell casings from the war. This made 1944 wheat pennies unique, as they were struck using this wartime metal blend. The 1944 penny was produced in massive quantities, over 1.4 billion in total, making it one of the most common wheat pennies in circulation. However, the key to its value lies in the details. The most valuable version of this coin is the 1944 Lincoln wheat penny with no mint mark, meaning it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. What makes this specific penny so desirable is not just its age or metal composition, but a combination of rarity and condition, historical significance, and collector demand. You see, most of the 1944 pennies are worth only a few cents to a few dollars in circulated condition. But when you find one in pristine, uncirculated condition, what collectors call mint state or MS, the value skyrockets. If your coin has full original luster, sharp details, no scratches or blemishes, and it's been professionally graded MS65 or higher, then you're sitting on a gold mine. One such 1944 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny sold at auction for an astonishing $15,555. Let that sink in. A 1-cent coin, struck more than 80 years ago, now worth over 15 grand. This isn't just a fluke. The coin collecting world is full of passionate hobbyists and investors who are willing to pay top dollar for rare, high-grade coins. And because most of the 1944 pennies have been circulated heavily, finding one in near-perfect condition is extremely rare. Now let's talk about some of the features you should look for if you come across a 1944 penny. First, flip the coin over and make sure there is no mint mark under the date. That's your clue that it was made in Philadelphia. Next, examine the condition. Look at Lincoln's coat, the hairlines, and the wheat stalks on the back. The more detail you can see, the better. Coins that show little to no wear have the most value. In addition to condition, there are also a few rare errors that can increase the value even more. For example, some 1944 pennies were accidentally struck on leftover steel planchets from 1943. These error coins are extremely rare and can be worth tens of thousands of dollars or more. You can test your coin with a magnet. If it sticks, it might be one of these valuable errors. There are also double die errors, off-center strikes, and repunched mint marks to watch out for. So, how can you find one of these valuable coins? You might be surprised. Some have been discovered in old coin jars, estate sales, flea markets, or inherited collections that haven't been sorted in years. You never know, you could already have one sitting in a drawer or passed down from a relative. The key is to check your pennies closely, and if you think you've found something special, get it professionally graded by a service like PCGS or NGC. Grading not only confirms the authenticity and quality of your coin, but it also gives you a solid idea of its market value. And speaking of market value, let's not forget that jaw-dropping number, $15,555. That's the current recorded sale price for a top-grade 1944 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny. The value can fluctuate slightly based on market trends and collector interest, but high-grade examples are always in demand and consistently fetch premium prices at auctions and private sales. So what's the takeaway here? Always check your change. That ordinary-looking penny in your wallet, your piggy bank, or your old coin collection could be a valuable treasure waiting to be discovered. The 1944 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny is more than just a piece of copper. It's a slice of American history, a war-era artifact, and a shining example of how something so small can be worth so much. If you enjoyed learning about this rare and valuable penny, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the world of rare coins, hidden treasures, and collector gold. Drop a comment below if you've ever come across a 1944 penny. And don't forget to share this video with friends and family who might have one sitting in their collection. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep searching, keep collecting, and keep the history alive, one coin at a time. Today's exciting video, we're diving deep into the world of numismatics as we uncover the secrets, history, and incredible value of the 1946 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny. This humble little coin might be sitting unnoticed in your pocket change or stashed away in a jar on your shelf. But what if I told you it could be worth up to $16,277 today? Yes, you heard that right. One small cent that's now worth thousands. Let's start at the very beginning. The 1946 Lincoln Wheat Penny is a post-World War II coin. America was just emerging from the war, and the nation was filled with hope and rebuilding. That era produced a wide range of interesting coins, and the 1946 Lincoln cent is no exception. The design of this coin features the classic bust of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, or front side, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's profile faces to the right, with the words, "In God We Trust," above his head, "Liberty," to his left, and the date 1946 to the right. Now, when we say, "No mint mark," we're referring to coins that were produced at the Philadelphia Mint. Unlike coins minted in Denver or San Francisco, which carry a small D or S mint mark, Philadelphia minted coins from this era typically had no identifying letter. So if your 1946 Lincoln penny has just a date and no mint letter underneath it, congratulations, you've got a Philadelphia issue. Let's talk about the historical background. The United States Mint produced over 1 billion Lincoln pennies in 1946, so you might be wondering, how can any of them be rare or valuable? The answer lies in condition, strike quality, and unique errors. While it's true that the majority of these pennies are common and worth just a few cents in circulated condition, high-grade examples, especially those that are uncirculated or have unique features, are incredibly sought after by collectors. Coins that are graded MS65 or higher, that's Mint State 65, are the real gems. These coins have never been used in circulation. They have full original luster, sharp details, and very minimal handling marks. Only a small fraction of 1946 no mint mark Lincoln pennies survive in this pristine state today. And when they do appear at auctions, the bidding wars can drive prices sky high. But the real shocker comes when we talk about rare varieties and errors. Some 1946 wheat pennies have doubling on the obverse, especially around the words, "Liberty," or the date, what collectors call a doubled die. Others may have off-center strikes, repunched mint marks from damaged dies, or even lamination errors in the metal. Each of these rare variants increases the collector value significantly. Now let's talk about that jaw-dropping number. The current market value of a top-grade, rare 1946 no mint mark Lincoln Wheat penny can reach up to $16,277. Yes, that's 1 cent, a copper coin, valued in the 5-figure range. In 2023, a gem-quality 1946 wheat penny with incredible eye appeal and sharp strike sold at auction for this astonishing price. And as the market for rare coins continues to grow, these values can climb even higher. So how can you know if your 1946 Lincoln penny is one of these valuable examples? First, examine the coin closely under good lighting or a magnifying glass. Check for any unusual doubling, striking errors, or signs of sharp detail in Lincoln's beard, coat, and hair. The wheat stalks on the reverse side should also be crisp and well defined. Next, check the coin's surface. Uncirculated coins will have full luster, like a brand new penny, with no wear on the high points. If you think you have something special, it's time to get it professionally graded. Reputable coin grading companies like PCGS or NGC can evaluate your coin and certify its authenticity and grade. Having your coin graded not only protects it, but also helps maximize its value when it comes time to sell or auction. Let's recap. The 1946 no mint mark Lincoln Wheat penny is a fascinating piece of post-war American history. Though billions were made, only a few remain in gem condition or feature rare errors. And those lucky finds can command prices of $16,277 or even more. Imagine finding one of these in your change drawer. It's not impossible. That's the magic of coin collecting. Before we end today's video, here's a pro tip. Check old rolls of pennies from banks, or ask friends and relatives if they have old jars of change. These forgotten stashes sometimes hold hidden treasures, including valuable wheat pennies like the 1946 edition. Coin dealers and collectors are always on the hunt, and the next great find could be in your hands. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1946 Lincoln Wheat penny, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest coin discoveries. Drop a comment below if you've ever come across a rare penny, or if you have questions about your own coin collection. Welcome back to another exciting episode where we uncover the hidden treasures in your pocket change. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of American coinage to explore the history and value of a remarkable coin, the 1948 Lincoln Wheat Penny with no mint mark. This unassuming little coin could be worth thousands of dollars, and by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why. So if you're a coin collector, a history buff, or someone just curious about the change sitting in your drawer, stay tuned. You don't want to miss this. Let's begin by traveling back to the year 1948. World War II had ended just 3 years earlier, and the United States was entering a new era of prosperity and change. Factories that once produced war supplies were now shifting to consumer goods. People were rebuilding their lives, starting families, buying homes, and yes, spending coins like this one. In that very year, the Lincoln Wheat Penny continued to circulate as one of the most common forms of currency in everyday use. It featured the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a design first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of his birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, and not just any person, one of the most respected presidents in American history. Now, what makes the 1948 Lincoln Penny special? First, let's talk about the minting. The coin was struck at two major facilities, the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. The ones minted in Denver carry the small D mint mark just below the date. However, the ones minted in Philadelphia were struck without any mint mark at all. That's right, no D, no S, just the year, 1948. And that's the one we're focusing on today, the 1948 no mint mark Lincoln Wheat Penny. You might be wondering, if this penny was minted in Philadelphia, and there's no mint mark, isn't that normal? Yes, it is. But here's the twist. While millions of these pennies were produced, only a tiny fraction have survived in pristine, high-grade condition. And it's these high-grade examples that command shocking prices in today's market. To the untrained eye, it might look like just another old coin. But to collectors and experts, a well-preserved 1948 Lincoln Wheat Penny can be a valuable piece of American history. Let's talk numbers now. Over 317 million of these pennies were minted in Philadelphia in 1948. That sounds like a lot, right? But here's the catch. Most of those coins were used in everyday transactions, handled thousands of times, worn down, scratched, or damaged. Finding one today in uncirculated or near-mint condition is incredibly rare. And rarity drives value. If you have a 1948 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat Penny in average circulated condition, it might be worth just a few cents to a couple of dollars. But if your coin is in exceptional condition, meaning it's uncirculated with a high grade like MS65 or higher, then you're talking serious money. Now let's focus on the star of today's show, a 1948 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat Penny that recently sold for an astounding $9,211. That's right, $9,211 for a single penny. Why? Because this coin was graded by a professional grading service as being in nearly perfect mint state condition. It had sharp details, brilliant luster, and zero signs of wear. Combine that pristine condition with the historical significance and collector demand, and you have a recipe for a 5-figure payday. What makes these coins so collectible, beyond condition, is the design itself. The reverse side of the 1948 Wheat Penny features two stalks of wheat, one on each side, symbolizing agricultural abundance. The words 1 cent and United States of America are centered in bold letters, with the Latin motto, E pluribus unum, running along the top. This classic wheat design was used from 1909 until 1958, when it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial reverse. So the 1948 version is part of that nostalgic era of American coinage that collectors absolutely love. So how do you know if your 1948 penny is worth serious money? First, check the condition. Look at the coin under bright light. Are the details sharp and clear? Can you see the lines in Lincoln's jacket or the fine details in the wheat stalks? Next, check for luster. Does the coin still have that original mint shine? Even small scratches, discoloration, or signs of wear can significantly lower the value. If you think you have something special, it might be time to send your coin to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll assess the coin and assign a grade that can make or break its value in the collector's market. Another important thing to remember is that coins with errors can sometimes be even more valuable. While the 1948 Lincoln penny is not known for major mint errors, it's always worth checking. Look for doubled dies, off-center strikes, or anything unusual. These types of flaws, if verified, can drive the price up dramatically. Let's say you don't have a perfect gem or rare error, but your coin is still in pretty good condition. That's great. Even moderately circulated examples of the 1948 no-mint mark wheat penny can sell for a few bucks, especially if the eye appeal is strong. Multiply that by a handful of coins, and you've got a nice little collection growing in value. Now you may be wondering, who's paying these high prices? The answer is serious coin collectors and investors. There's a thriving market for rare coins, especially older American pennies, and auctions are constantly seeing bidding wars for the highest graded examples. These buyers are not just purchasing metal, they're investing in history. Each coin tells a story. Where did it travel? What hands did it pass through? What moments in history was it present for? Before we wrap up, let's recap the key points. The 1948 Lincoln wheat penny with no mint mark was minted in Philadelphia, and while millions were produced, only a few have survived in top-notch condition. If you're lucky enough to find one in near-perfect state, your single penny could be worth an incredible $9,211 in today's collector market. That's the current recorded market value for a top-tier example, and prices may even increase over time as fewer high-quality coins remain. So, the next time you come across an old penny, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look. Because hidden among the ordinary coins might be something extraordinary. A forgotten treasure. A slice of American history that could change your life, 1 cent at a time. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare coins, valuable finds, and numismatic secrets, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode. Until next time, keep checking your change, and happy collecting. If you're a coin collector, a history enthusiast, or simply someone who stumbled across an old penny and wondered, is this worth anything? Then you're in for a treat today. Because today, we're diving deep into the story of a fascinating coin that might just be sitting unnoticed in your collection, the 1950 Lincoln wheat penny. Let's get right into it. Now, this coin may look ordinary at first glance. It's small, brownish in tone, made mostly of copper, and bears the face of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse. But don't let its modest appearance fool you. This little coin, minted in Denver in the year 1950, can fetch a jaw-dropping $11,999 in today's coin market under the right conditions. Before we jump into what makes this penny so valuable, let's take a trip back in time and understand its historical background. The Lincoln wheat penny series was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse of the coin featured a detailed profile of President Lincoln, making it the first U.S. coin to depict a real person. On the reverse, you'll find 2 wheat stalks curving along the edges, hence the name, wheat penny. Fast forward to 1950. Post-World War II America was going through economic changes, and the Denver Mint was busy producing coins for the growing nation. That year, over 334 million Lincoln pennies were struck with the D Mint mark, which stands for Denver. Now you might be asking, if there were so many produced, how can it be rare? That's a great question, and here's where things get interesting. Most of the 1950 D Lincoln cents that were minted were circulated heavily. They were used in everyday transactions and wore down over time. As a result, finding a 1950 D wheat penny in uncirculated or mint state condition is extremely rare. And that's where the big money comes in. Coin collectors and numismatists place enormous value on the condition of a coin. A coin that has been well preserved, with no scratches, dings, or discoloration, is known as being in mint state, often graded on a scale from MS-60 to MS-70. A 1950 Lincoln penny that grades MS67 or higher is a true gem, and can command a price of up to $11,999. That's right, a single copper penny, worth just 1 cent at face value, can be worth nearly $12,000 if it's in pristine condition. But condition isn't the only factor. What also makes this coin so desirable is the strength of its strike, the quality of its luster, and even small details like the clarity of the lettering or the centering of the design. Sometimes, pennies can also have minting errors, and those can increase value even more. Let's talk about some key error varieties that collectors hunt for. Although the 1950 penny doesn't have a famously known major error like the 1955 double die, there have been reports of minor doubling on the date or lettering in some rare cases. Additionally, coins with off-center strikes or clipped planchets, where part of the coin is missing due to a misfeed during minting, are highly collectible. Now here's something that many beginners in coin collecting might overlook. The 1950 penny is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, which gives it a distinctive red tone when preserved well. This red color is also used in coin grading. If a coin retains its original reddish-orange luster, it's graded as red or RD. A slightly toned coin is graded red-brown or RB, and a fully brown coin is simply BN. Red coins, especially in high mint state grades, fetch the highest prices. A 1950 Lincoln Wheat penny graded MS67 RD can easily push that $11,999 mark at auction. Let's talk about real-world sales. Recently, auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers have reported sales of 1950 Lincoln pennies in high grades reaching anywhere from $5,000 to $12,000. One remarkable MS67 Plus red specimen sold for just under $12,000, setting a new standard for this coin in the collector market. Now you might be thinking, okay, I have a 1950 penny, does that mean I'm rich? Not so fast. First, you need to determine the condition of your coin. If it's heavily worn, with visible scratches, discoloration, or dents, it's probably only worth a few cents to a couple of dollars. But if your coin looks clean, has a bright red or reddish-brown surface, no visible damage, and strong detail, then it might be worth getting graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. Grading isn't free. It typically costs between $30 to $60 per coin, so it's not something you want to do for every penny in your jar. But if you genuinely believe you have a high-quality 1950 penny, then the investment could absolutely pay off. So how do you check if your coin is a valuable one? Start by examining it under a bright light or magnifying glass. Look at the date and the D mint mark. Make sure it's clearly defined and not blurry or damaged. Check Lincoln's coat, beard, and the wheat stalks on the reverse. The more detail that's visible, the better. Don't forget to weigh it too. The correct weight for a 1950 Lincoln cent is 3.11 grams. If your coin weighs drastically more or less than that, it could be a counterfeit or possibly struck on the wrong planchet, which is another kind of mint error that can be worth even more. To wrap things up, the 1950 Lincoln Wheat penny is not only a piece of American history but also a hidden treasure that could be worth a small fortune. While most examples in average condition won't make you rich, there are a few high-grade examples out there that are valued at an astounding $11,999. So check your pocket change, go through your old coin jars, and dig out those forgotten pennies. You never know what you might find out. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare coins and hidden treasures, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a coin worth collecting. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Coin Treasures, where every penny could be a fortune waiting to be found. Today's fascinating journey into American coin history, we're diving deep into the story of the 1950 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat penny, a humble-looking 1-cent coin that could be hiding in your pocket change right now, yet it's worth an eye-popping $12,889 in the collector's market today. Now, before we talk about why this particular penny is so valuable, let's take a step back in time to understand how it came to be. The Lincoln Wheat penny was introduced in 1909, created to commemorate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It was the first time a real person, not a symbolic figure, appeared on an American coin, and that made it instantly iconic. Victor David Brenner designed both the obverse, featuring Lincoln's bust, and the reverse, which shows two stalks of wheat, symbolizing national prosperity and agricultural strength. Fast forward to the year 1950. America had just emerged from World War II and was settling into a post-war boom. The economy was growing, people were saving, and coins were still made mostly of copper, unlike later years when metals changed due to shortages. In that year, the Philadelphia Mint struck millions of Lincoln wheat pennies. But here's where things get interesting. Coins made in Philadelphia typically did not carry a mint mark, unlike those produced in Denver or San Francisco. So if you look at a 1950 penny and it doesn't have a small D or S under the date, congratulations, you're holding a Philadelphia minted coin, known as the no mint mark penny. Now, here's the thing. Although the Philadelphia Mint produced over 272 million of these pennies, not all of them are created equal. The vast majority of these coins were used in circulation and are now worn, scratched, or damaged. But every so often, collectors come across one that is in stunning condition, what's called mint state, meaning it was never used, never spent, and has been preserved for decades with its original luster and detail. These high-grade examples are what bring in the big bucks at auctions and coin shows. Imagine finding one of these in a forgotten box of coins from your grandparents, or hidden in an old penny jar. It might look like just another brown coin at first glance, but under the surface, you could be staring at a rare collectible worth thousands. And that brings us to why some 1950 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat pennies have sold for jaw-dropping prices. One specific example graded as MS-67 red by Professional Grading Services was recently sold for $12,889. That's right, a 1-cent coin fetching almost $13,000, simply because of its condition, rarity, and high demand from collectors. What makes this possible? First, very few 1950 pennies survived in such perfect condition. Second, collectors who build registry sets, highly competitive collections that rank coins based on quality, are always on the hunt for the finest known examples. When two or more collectors compete for the same coin, bidding wars happen, and prices skyrocket. So what should you be looking for in your own collection or coin roll hunts? First, check the date. You want it to read 1950. Second, inspect underneath the date. If there's no mint mark at all, you've got a Philadelphia strike. Next, check the coin's color and condition. Is it still red and shiny? That's a good sign. Is there minimal wear on Lincoln's face, beard, and coat? Can you see the wheat stalks on the back clearly, with crisp lines and no flattening? These are the small details that tell you whether a coin might be valuable. And here's a bonus tip. If you think your coin is in really great shape, consider having it professionally graded by a trusted service like PCGS or NGC. Yes, there's a small cost involved, but if your coin turns out to be a high-grade example, that investment could return many times over. Just think about it. Turning 1 cent into $12,000 is a return of over 1,000,000%. Beyond its monetary value, the 1950 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny is a piece of American history. It carries the legacy of President Lincoln, the skill of early 20th century engravers, and the journey of millions of Americans who use these pennies in everyday life, buying bread, newspapers, and candy in an era long gone. So whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just getting started, don't overlook these old wheat pennies. That little coin in your change jar or tucked away in an old dresser could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Keep hunting, keep learning, and most of all, enjoy the incredible stories that come with every coin. Thanks for watching, and if you found this video helpful or inspiring, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into valuable coins and hidden treasures. Until next time, happy collecting and good luck finding your own rare and valuable 1950 Lincoln wheat penny worth $12,889. Today's video, we're diving deep into the world of vintage copper coins, focusing on the legendary 1951 Lincoln wheat penny, a small but mighty piece of American coinage that could be sitting in your pocket change right now without you even realizing it. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why collectors are willing to pay thousands of dollars for this humble 1-cent piece, and how one particular example reached an astonishing value of $13,667. So let's start at the beginning. The 1951 D Lincoln Wheat penny was minted at the Denver Mint, indicated by the small D mint mark found just below the date on the obverse side of the coin, right next to President Abraham Lincoln's shoulder. The Denver Mint was extremely active during the early 1950s, and in 1951 alone, it struck over 625 million of these wheat pennies. That may sound like a huge number, and it is, but don't be fooled. While the majority of these coins were mass-produced and circulated widely, only a very small percentage survived the passage of time in pristine condition. And it's these high-grade examples that are now fetching premium prices in today's collector market. The Lincoln Wheat penny design itself was introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was designed by Victor David Brenner and became the first U.S. coin to feature a real person's portrait, a revolutionary change from the allegorical figures used before. The obverse showcases Lincoln's right-facing bust, with the motto "In God We Trust" above, the word "Liberty" to the left, and the date to the right, along with the D mint mark for coins struck in Denver. The reverse features two wheat stalks circling the words 1 cent, United States of America, and the Latin phrase E pluribus unum above, a simple yet elegant design that earned the coin its popular nickname, the wheat penny. Now let's talk about why some 1951 D wheat pennies are worth a fortune. As mentioned earlier, over 625 million were produced, which makes common, circulated examples worth only a few cents over face value. But collectors are always on the lookout for those rare examples in nearly perfect condition, pennies that somehow avoided the scratches, dings, and discoloration that come with decades of handling. A coin in mint state, especially graded MS66 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, can command significantly higher prices. And here's where it gets really exciting. A particular 1951 D wheat penny, preserved in exceptional condition with razor-sharp details, stunning luster, and a rich original copper color, was sold at auction for a whopping $13,667. That's right, from 1 cent to over 13 grand. The buyer wasn't just paying for copper. They were investing in history, rarity, and the near impossible condition of that specific coin. High-grade coins like these are scarce because copper, the metal used in these coins, is soft and easily damaged. That's why most coins from that era show signs of wear. Finding a 1951 D penny in pristine condition is like finding a needle in a haystack. But it's not just condition that drives value. Errors and varieties also play a massive role. For example, some 1951 D pennies have been found with repunched mint marks, double die obverse, or off-center strikes. These era coins can skyrocket in value because they are unique and much harder to find. Collectors love errors because they represent a break in the perfection of minting, a moment when a machine misfired or a die was misaligned, and that brief imperfection turned an ordinary coin into a rare and valuable gem. So what should you do if you think you've found a 1951 D wheat penny? First, examine it closely. Does it have strong details? Is the color original or has it been cleaned? Has it been kept in a coin holder, away from damage and moisture? If the answer is yes, you might want to consider having it professionally graded. Even if it's not worth thousands, a coin in MS63 condition could still fetch $10 to $25, and the price climbs quickly for coins in MS65, MS66, or higher. Of course, the best way to ensure value is to preserve the coin properly. Store it in a protective coin capsule or flip, handle it by the edges only, and avoid cleaning it. Cleaned coins actually lose value. Original surfaces are highly prized in the numismatic world. And if you're buying 1951 D wheat pennies, make sure you purchase from reputable dealers or attend certified auctions to avoid counterfeits or altered coins. In conclusion, the 1951 D Lincoln Wheat penny is a fascinating coin with a rich history and tremendous value potential. While millions were minted, only a handful remain in gem condition, and even fewer reach the elite status of auction-worthy collectibles. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just starting out, checking your change for wheat pennies could be the start of a rewarding journey. And who knows, you might be lucky enough to discover one worth $13,667. Thank you for watching. If you found this video informative and entertaining, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more incredible coin stories, value guides, and hidden treasures from the past. Until next time, keep hunting, because the next rare coin could be in your pocket right now. Today's exciting episode, we're taking a close look at the 1951 no-mint Mark Lincoln wheat penny, a coin that may look ordinary to some, but to collectors and numismatists, it holds extraordinary value and historical importance. If you have one of these coins lying around, you might be sitting on a small fortune, because one of these has been sold for an astonishing price of $14,982. Yes, you heard that right. So, grab your cup of coffee, sit back, and join us on this deep dive into the 1951 wheat penny that could change your life. Let's begin with a bit of history. The Lincoln wheat cent, also called the Lincoln wheat penny, was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It replaced the Indian head penny, and it was the first U.S. coin to feature the portrait of an actual historical figure. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse of the coin shows the iconic profile of Abraham Lincoln, while the reverse features two wheat ears encircling the words 1 cent and United States of America. This wheat design remained until 1958, after which it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. Now let's focus on the 1951 Lincoln wheat penny. This coin was struck at 3 different locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia mint coins are the ones with no mint mark, which is the one we are talking about today. Coins without a mint mark were minted in Philadelphia, and in 1951, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 284 million of these pennies. That's a lot, and it might make you think the coin is common and not worth much. But hold on, there's more to this story. Even though over 284 million were minted, not all of them are created equal. What truly sets certain 1951 no-mint Mark Lincoln wheat pennies apart is their condition, rarity in high grades, and some unusual mint errors. These specific traits can send the value of a single penny into the thousands of dollars. The coin's metal composition also contributes to its desirability. Made from 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, it has that classic, rich copper tone that collectors love. But what collectors really hunt for are coins in exceptional condition or with rare minting anomalies. So what makes a 1951 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny worth up to $14,982? The answer lies primarily in its condition, or more precisely its grade. Coins are graded on the Sheldon scale from 1 to 70, with 70 representing a perfect, flawless coin. Most 1951 wheat pennies found in circulation are in very poor or worn condition, often grading between 2 and 20. But the rare specimens that have been preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition, coins that never touched human hands and show absolutely no wear, are graded MS65, MS66, or even MS67 red. These coins are incredibly scarce and command sky-high prices at auctions. The highest recorded sale of a 1951 no-mint Mark Lincoln wheat penny was a certified MS67 red specimen, which fetched a whopping $14,982. That coin had brilliant luster, perfect strike, and full red color, all the features that collectors dream of. If you're wondering what red means in coin collecting, it refers to the color designation. Copper coins naturally oxidize over time and turn brown. A red designation means the coin has retained nearly all of its original red copper coloration, a sign that it's been impeccably preserved. But that's not all. Era coins from 1951 also carry significant value. Some rare era varieties include double dies, off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, die cracks, and clipped planchets. If you come across a 1951 Lincoln penny that looks unusual or has design elements that appear doubled or misaligned, don't dismiss it. These errors can make even a worn coin worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the error type and overall condition. Now let's talk about how to tell if your 1951 no mint mark penny is valuable. First, examine the coin under good lighting or a magnifying glass. Look for sharp details, no scratches or signs of wear, and rich red luster. If your coin appears flawless and has full original red color, it could be worth submitting to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. A certified grade can dramatically increase the coin's resale value. Even in circulated condition, a 1951 Lincoln penny can be worth more than face value. A coin in average circulated condition might fetch 5 to 15 cents, while a coin in extremely fine condition can sell for a few dollars. Uncirculated examples typically start at around $10 to $25 and go much higher as the grade increases. So what's the current market trend for these coins? As of this year, collectors continue to show strong demand for high-grade wheat pennies, especially those from the early 1950s with excellent eye appeal. Auction houses and online coin marketplaces have seen steady bidding wars over the top-graded 1951 no-mint mark pennies. It's not unusual to see MS66 and MS67 red examples hitting four-figure prices, and some rare error coins are commanding even more. In short, this humble little penny has become a coveted piece of American numismatic history. Before you rush off to check your penny jar or dig through your old coin albums, let me leave you with a few important tips. First, always handle coins carefully by the edges, preferably while wearing gloves, to avoid damaging the surface. Second, never clean your coins. Cleaning can drastically reduce their value and leave permanent damage. Third, if you believe you have a rare or valuable penny, consider getting it appraised or graded. That small investment could reveal that your coin is worth far more than you imagined. To recap, the 1951 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny might appear like any other old coin, but in the right condition, it could be worth a life-changing amount of money. With a record sale price of $14,982, this coin proves that history and value often go hand in hand. So check your change, explore your drawers, and inspect those old coin rolls, because you never know when you might stumble upon one of these copper treasures. Thanks for watching, and if you found this video helpful or interesting, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe for more coin treasure content, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Let us know in the comments if you've ever found a rare wheat penny or what coin you want us to cover next. Until then, keep hunting and happy collecting. Today's exciting episode, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of rare U.S. coins, specifically, the 1952 Lincoln wheat penny. This little copper coin may seem ordinary at first glance, but don't be fooled. It holds a rich history and can be worth a lot of money, up to $6,990 in today's market. So, whether you're a beginner or a seasoned coin collector, this video is one you won't want to miss. Let's begin our journey back to the year 1952. The United States was in the post-World War II era, a time of growth, rebuilding, and industrial expansion. During this time, the Denver Mint struck over 746 million Lincoln 1-cent wheat pennies. Yes, you heard that right, millions of them. But among those coins, there were some with superior quality, flawless minting, or unique errors that today make them extremely desirable in the numismatic world. Now you may be wondering, what's so special about the 1952 Lincoln wheat penny? First, let's break it down. The D Mint mark on this coin stands for the Denver Mint, one of the key U.S. mint locations responsible for producing a massive number of coins throughout the mid-20th century. The penny itself features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner. The reverse side carries the iconic wheat ears on both sides of the words. 1 cent, a design that collectors love and cherish even to this day. Although this penny was made of mostly copper, 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, it's not just its metal composition that gives it value. It's the historical context, the minting quality, and the condition of the coin that truly determine its worth. That's where grading comes into play. Let's talk about grading for a moment. Coin grading refers to the condition or state of preservation of a coin. The better the condition, the more it's worth. Coins that are heavily circulated, scratched, or worn usually sell for only a few cents to a few dollars. But a 1952 Lincoln wheat penny that has been preserved in pristine, mint state condition, especially graded MS66 or higher by professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC, can reach values as high as $6,990. Now here's where things get even more exciting. There are rare varieties and errors associated with the 1952 penny that can drive the value even higher. Some of the most sought-after errors include double die obverse, repunched mint marks, and off-center strikes. Imagine holding a penny with a noticeable double image on Lincoln's profile or date. That's a double die, and collectors pay big money for it. Or perhaps your penny has the D mint mark punched more than once, creating a shadow-like effect. That's a repunched mint mark. These varieties, when authenticated and graded, can command premium prices in the coin market. So how do you know if you have one of these valuable 1952 wheat pennies? First, grab a magnifying glass and carefully examine the details of the coin. Look for sharp lines, clean edges, and strong luster. Inspect the date and mint mark closely for any signs of doubling or repunching. Then, compare your coin to images available from reliable numismatic sources or auction houses. If your coin looks like a possible gem, consider sending it to a grading service for professional evaluation. Another important factor is the coin's strike. Coins that were sharply struck by fresh dies often have more detailed features and are worth more. A weak strike or off-center strike, although technically an error, can either increase or decrease value depending on the extent and appeal of the flaw. Now let's talk about market trends. In recent years, collector interest in Lincoln wheat pennies has surged. Online marketplaces, coin shows, and numismatic auctions have seen increased bidding on high-grade examples. A well-preserved 1952 penny in mint state can easily attract the attention of competitive bidders. In fact, one such coin, graded MS67 red, sold for a stunning $6,990, a testament to its rarity and condition. This surge in value is also being driven by a renewed interest in American history and a desire to own a piece of the past. Coins like the 1952 wheat penny aren't just currency, they're miniature time capsules. They've passed through decades of hands, survived wars, recessions, and economic booms. Each coin tells a silent story, and that story becomes even more compelling when tied to rarity, preservation, and mystery. So what should you do if you find one in your collection? First, don't clean it. Cleaning can damage the coin's surface and dramatically reduce its value. Instead, store it in a coin holder, flip, or airtight case to protect it. Then, do some research or consult a professional numismatist to assess its potential. Even if it's not worth thousands, it could still fetch a decent amount from collectors or coin dealers. And if you're just starting out, don't worry. There are still plenty of these coins in circulation, hiding in old jars, boxes, and family collections. Check your change. Visit local flea markets, estate sales, and auctions. Who knows, you might stumble upon a forgotten gem. To wrap up, the 1952 Lincoln wheat penny is more than just a coin. It's a relic of history, a symbol of craftsmanship, and in some rare cases, a valuable treasure that could bring you a small fortune. Whether you're collecting for passion, profit, or both, keep your eyes peeled and your knowledge sharp. The world of coins is full of surprises, and the next great discovery might just be hiding in your pocket. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into the fascinating story of the 1952 Lincoln wheat penny, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more videos on rare and valuable coins. Let us know in the comments if you've ever come across a rare wheat penny, or if you have questions about your own collection. Until next time, happy hunting and keep checking that change. Today's exciting episode, we're diving deep into the incredible story behind one of the most fascinating Lincoln wheat pennies ever minted, the 1954 Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny. You might be holding on to something worth a small fortune, because believe it or not, some rare varieties and pristine condition pieces of this coin have sold for up to $8,920. Let's take a journey back in time to the year 1954. Dwight D. Eisenhower was the President of the United States, and America was right in the midst of a post-war economic boom. At this time, pennies were more than just copper coins. They were an essential part of everyday life, used for payphones, candy, gum, and newspaper stands. And the penny of that era still bore the now iconic wheat reverse design, which ran from 1909 to 1958 before being replaced with the Lincoln Memorial. Now, the 1954 D. Lincoln wheat penny gets its name from the fact that it was minted in Denver, Colorado. You can identify the D mint mark just below the date on the front of the coin, right under the number 4 in 1954. Denver was one of 3 U.S. mint facilities striking coins that year, along with Philadelphia and San Francisco. The Denver Mint produced a massive amount of these pennies, approximately 251 million pieces, which makes them fairly common in circulated condition. But don't let the high mintage fool you. The real value lies in the condition, rarity of errors, and unique die varieties. Let's talk design. On the obverse, or front side, we have the classic bust of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. His initials, VDB, appear subtly under Lincoln's shoulder on the coin. The reverse side features 2 wheat stalks curved along the edges with the words 1 cent and United States of America prominently displayed in the center. Above that, we see the words E pluribus unum, which means out of many, one, a powerful reminder of the unity of the American people. So why is this penny worth so much today? The answer comes down to condition, rarity, and demand from collectors. A standard circulated 1954 D penny may only be worth a few cents to a few dollars. But in uncirculated, high-grade condition, especially those graded MS66 and above by grading services like PCGS or NGC, the value skyrockets. These coins, with their original red luster, perfect strike, and no signs of wear, are incredibly rare and highly sought after. The top-tier examples, those that are certified red by professional grading services, meaning they maintain their original reddish copper tone, are the ones that can bring in big money. Collectors love these red cents because they show no signs of oxidation or toning, which is very difficult to preserve over decades. One stunning example of a 1954 D wheat penny in MS67 red condition was auctioned for a jaw-dropping $8,920. That's right, a single penny, worth nearly $9,000 simply because it was preserved perfectly and authenticated by professionals. But there's more to the story than just high grades. Some 1954 D Lincoln cents come with fascinating mint errors. You might find double die obverse, repunched mint marks, known in the collector world as RPMs, and even off-center strikes. These errors add a layer of uniqueness that collectors crave. Depending on the severity and visibility of the error, these pennies can command hundreds or even thousands of dollars in the right market. Another valuable aspect is the historical importance of Lincoln wheat pennies themselves. They are among the most beloved and widely collected coin series in American history. The series began in 1909 to celebrate the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth and ran until 1958. Because of this, many collectors aim to complete a full set of every date and mint mark, and they're always on the lookout for well-preserved examples from the 1950s. So how can you tell if your 1954 D penny is worth big money? First, inspect it under a bright light or magnifying glass. Look for signs of wear. If it still has that bright red color with no dullness or discoloration, you may have something special. Next, check for any errors or unusual characteristics. Doubling in the lettering, unusual spacing, or a clearly repunched mint mark. If you believe your coin may be valuable, the next step is to get it graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. Grading not only authenticates your coin but gives it a professional condition rating that collectors trust when buying. In summary, the 1954 D Lincoln wheat penny is a classic American coin that continues to captivate collectors across the country. While most of them are worth only a few cents in circulation, a flawless red gem with the right grade can bring in serious money. The highest recorded sale of this coin reached $8,920, all for a 1-cent piece that many people overlook or toss into a jar without a second thought. So the next time you're sifting through old change, rummaging through your drawers, or looking through your grandparents' coin collection, keep a sharp eye out for the 1954 D Lincoln Wheat Penny. It might just change your life. Thanks for watching, and if you found this video helpful or interesting, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the world of rare and valuable coins. Until next time, keep searching, keep collecting, and who knows, your next penny could be worth a fortune. Today, we are going to dive deep into the fascinating world of the 1955 D Lincoln Wheat Penny, a small copper coin with a rich history, rare characteristics, and a current market value of up to $13,887. So grab your magnifying glass, sit back, and let's uncover the secrets of this incredibly valuable 1-cent coin. The Lincoln Wheat Penny, first introduced in 1909, has always held a special place in American coin collecting. Designed by Victor David Brenner to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the coin was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. The obverse of the coin shows the right-facing profile of President Abraham Lincoln, while the reverse design showcases two stylized wheat stalks along the sides and the words, 1 cent, in bold letters in the center. This iconic design ran until 1958, making every wheat penny part of a now-retired series that has become a major target for collectors worldwide. Now, let's talk about the year 1955. That year, there were actually 3 different mint marks for Lincoln pennies. You had coins minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Denver Mint is what gives us the 1955 D penny, with the D mint mark located just below the date on the obverse side. While at first glance it may seem like an ordinary coin, many 1955 D Lincoln Wheat pennies are anything but. That's because certain examples from this year were struck with errors, or have extremely high grades, making them highly desirable and incredibly valuable. Before we explore what makes these pennies worth thousands, let's take a brief look at the historical backdrop. The year 1955 was a post-war boom period in the United States. Industry was booming, the American middle class was growing, and coin production was ramping up to meet increasing demand. In that year, over 563 million Lincoln Wheat pennies were struck at the Denver Mint. So you might ask, how can a coin from such a massive mintage be worth over $13,000? The answer lies in the details: condition, rarity, errors, and grading. Many of the 1955 D pennies were circulated heavily, which means finding one in pristine condition is extremely rare. Most of the coins you'll find today are worn, scratched, or discolored. But if you happen to come across one that has been preserved in near-perfect condition, something coin experts call mint state, then you might just be holding a miniature fortune. Coins that are graded MS66, MS67, or even higher by reputable grading companies like PCGS or NGC are where the real money is. One such 1955 D Lincoln Wheat penny in top-grade condition sold at auction for an astonishing $13,887. That's right, a single 1-cent coin turned into a 5-figure payday. But it's not just about grade. Some 1955 D pennies have special characteristics or minting errors that add to their value. While the famous 1955 double-die obverse penny came from the Philadelphia Mint, collectors still pay close attention to 1955 D coins for other types of anomalies. These can include off-center strikes, die cracks, repunched mint marks, and even planchet errors. Each of these factors can dramatically increase the coin's desirability and market price. Let's say you find a 1955 D penny, and you're not sure what it's worth. The first step is to check the condition. Does it still have its original luster? Are there any scratches or dents? What do the details on Lincoln's face and the wheat stalks on the back look like? If your coin looks almost untouched, then it may be worth getting it professionally graded. That can be the difference between a coin worth just a few cents and one worth thousands. Collectors love this coin not only for its design and rarity but also because it represents a turning point in American coin history. The Wheat Penny series would end just a few years later in 1958, making the mid-1950s issues some of the final chapters in this beloved coin's story. The 1955 D, in particular, is a coin that combines high mintage with the possibility of rare preservation, making it a thrilling hunt for anyone who collects coins or wants to find hidden treasures. So, what should you do if you think you've got a 1955 D Lincoln Wheat penny in your collection? First, handle it carefully. Avoid touching the surfaces and hold it by the edges to preserve its condition. Next, examine it under good lighting and possibly with a magnifier to look for unique features or signs of a high-grade specimen. If it looks promising, consider having it evaluated by a coin dealer or certified by a professional grading service. And finally, let's talk numbers again. While most circulated 1955 D pennies are only worth a few cents to a couple dollars, the top-tier examples can easily exceed hundreds or thousands of dollars. The absolute best-known examples have broken into the five-figure range, including the one that sold for $13,887. That's a life-changing amount of money for something that may be sitting quietly in your change jar right now. So whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone who loves stories of small items worth big money, the 1955 D Lincoln Wheat penny is one coin you should always keep an eye out for. It's a piece of American history, a beautiful copper relic, and for the lucky few, a hidden treasure worth thousands. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into one of the most valuable and overlooked coins in American coinage. Don't forget to like this video if you learned something new, subscribe to our channel for more amazing rare coin content, and share this with friends and family who might have a few pennies lying around. Who knows? The next rare penny worth $13,000 could be closer than you think. See you next time, and happy hunting! Today we have a truly fascinating and potentially life-changing coin to discuss. We're diving deep into the 1956 D Lincoln Wheat penny, a small piece of copper that might be hiding in your collection, your change jar, or even your pocket, and it's worth a surprising amount of money. In fact, one of these coins in pristine condition has sold for an incredible $11,288. Yes, that's right. Over $11,000 for a single 1-cent piece. So sit tight, because you don't want to miss this story. Let's begin with a little history. The Lincoln Wheat penny was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was the first U.S. coin to feature the image of a real person, and not a symbolic figure like Lady Liberty. The wheat penny is named for the two wheat stalks that flank the reverse of the coin, representing prosperity and strength. This classic design remained in circulation until 1958, making the 1956 D one of the later issues in this iconic series. Now let's talk about the 1956 D penny specifically. The D Mint mark stands for the Denver Mint, which struck a staggering 1.098 billion of these pennies. That's right, over 1 billion coins. With such a high mintage, it might seem like these pennies are too common to be valuable. But here's the twist: not all 1956 D pennies are created equal. While most are worth only face value in circulated condition, certain rare examples with exceptional characteristics can be worth thousands. So what makes a 1956 D Lincoln penny valuable? There are several key factors: condition, rarity, mint errors, and eye appeal. Condition is everything when it comes to coin collecting. A coin in poor or even average shape might only fetch a few cents to a few dollars. But a 1956 D penny in mint state condition, especially with a grade of MS65 or higher, can dramatically increase in value. Let's focus on mint state coins. MS65 means the coin is uncirculated and has strong luster, a sharp strike, and minimal imperfections. Collectors and grading companies like PCGS or NGC often assign these grades. If your 1956 D penny looks brand new, with original red luster and no visible wear, you could be looking at a serious payday. But that's not all. There are also known mint errors and varieties that make certain 1956 D pennies even more valuable. For example, double die obverse errors, repunched mint marks, or off-center strikes can dramatically increase a coin's value. These are mistakes made during the minting process and are highly sought after by collectors. Imagine finding a 1956 D penny with a clearly visible repunched mint mark, where the D was struck more than once and appears slightly doubled. Or perhaps you stumble across a doubled die where Lincoln's features or the inscriptions appear to be shadowed or repeated. These errors are rare and fascinating, and they command top dollar at auctions. Let's talk about the most jaw-dropping part: the value. A standard circulated 1950 60 penny might be worth 3 to 10 cents, but in mint state red condition, it can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars. One exceptional specimen graded MS67 Plus RD by PCGS, meaning it was nearly perfect and had full red color, sold at auction for an incredible $11,288. Just imagine, a penny, something most people overlook or toss aside, being worth more than $11,000, and it doesn't stop there. With today's booming interest in coin collecting and investing, demand for high-grade and arrowweave pennies is stronger than ever. Online marketplaces, auction houses, and coin shows are filled with collectors looking to complete their sets or invest in rare specimens. If you have a 1950 60 Lincoln wheat penny sitting around, now is the perfect time to take a closer look. Here's what you can do. First, examine the coin closely with a magnifying glass. Look for strong details in Lincoln's beard, hair, and coat. See if there's any doubling in the date, lettering, or mint mark. Check the reverse side. The wheat stalks should be crisp and full. If your coin is shiny and shows no signs of wear, you may have a mint state example. Next, consider getting it professionally graded by PCGS or NGC. While there is a fee involved, having a certified grade adds legitimacy and can massively boost the resale value. You can also compare your coin with images online or consult a local coin dealer for a second opinion. It's also a good idea to store your valuable coins properly. Use soft flips or plastic holders designed for coins to protect them from damage. Avoid touching the surface with bare fingers. Even natural skin oils can affect the condition. The 1950 60 Lincoln wheat penny reminds us that treasures don't always come in big packages. Sometimes, they're hiding in plain sight, in your pocket, piggy bank, or an old drawer. A penny from over 65 years ago might seem insignificant, but if it has the right characteristics, it could change your life. So whether you're a seasoned collector, a casual enthusiast, or someone who just found an old jar of coins, it's time to start looking closely. Because one small copper coin from 1956, minted in Denver, could be your ticket to $11,288 or more. Thank you for watching, and if you found this video helpful or interesting, be sure to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin, and don't forget to subscribe for more coin collecting stories, discoveries, and hidden treasures from American history. Keep hunting, keep learning, and keep believing, because the next valuable coin might be in your hand right now. Today's fascinating episode, we're diving deep into the rich history, hidden secrets, and jaw-dropping value of the 1956 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny. If you've got one of these old copper coins sitting in a drawer, you might want to take a closer look, because one in the right condition could be worth a stunning $7,983. Yes, you heard that right. Nearly $8,000 for just a single cent. Let's uncover the story behind this remarkable coin. The year was 1956. Dwight D. Eisenhower was President of the United States. Elvis Presley had just released Heartbreak Hotel, and America was booming in a post-war economic surge. Amid all this, the United States Mint was quietly striking 1-cent coins, including the now highly collectible 1956 Lincoln wheat penny. These pennies were minted in Philadelphia and Denver, but today, we're focusing specifically on the Philadelphia version, which means it has no mint mark. Now, for those of you who are new to coin collecting or numismatics, a mint mark is a small letter on a coin that shows where it was produced. For example, coins made in Denver have a small D. Those from San Francisco have an S. And Philadelphia coins from this era usually have no mint mark at all. That's why this coin is called the 1956 no mint mark Lincoln wheat penny. It came straight out of the Philadelphia Mint. The obverse, or front, of the coin features the familiar bust of President Abraham Lincoln, which was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of his birth. Above his head are the words, "In God We Trust." To the left, it reads, "Liberty," and to the right, the date 1956. If your coin doesn't have a mint mark under the date, that confirms it was struck in Philadelphia. Turn the coin over and you'll find 2 wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. Above those words, the Latin phrase E pluribus unum is displayed proudly. This reverse design is what gives the coin its nickname, the wheat penny. The wheat ears represent the promise of prosperity and growth, a fitting symbol for the post-war America of the 1950s. Now let's talk numbers. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 420 million of these coins in 1956, which means they're not exactly rare in general circulation. But here's the catch: most of them were used, worn down, and spent over decades. What really gets collectors excited, and what makes this coin worth thousands, is condition and specific minting details. So, how do you know if your 1956 no mint mark wheat penny is worth a fortune? The biggest factors are condition, grade, and potential errors. Let's start with condition. If your coin is heavily worn, discolored, or scratched, it will probably only be worth face value or a few cents. But if it's in excellent condition, say, mint state or uncirculated, it could be worth a small fortune. Coins that have been well preserved for over half a century, especially those graded MS65 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, can sell for thousands of dollars at auction. For example, one pristine 1956 no mint mark wheat penny graded MS67 red sold for an astonishing $7,983. This specific coin had strong luster, no major contact marks, and a deep red copper shine that made it stand out from the rest. That's the kind of condition collectors dream about. Now, let's talk about something else that excites coin hunters: errors. Every now and then, the minting process goes slightly wrong, and a coin is produced with an unusual error. These errors can drastically increase a coin's value. Some of the most sought-after errors in 1956 wheat pennies include double dies, off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, although with no mint mark in this case, it would be other anomalies like die cracks, die chips, or lamination errors. If you think you might have an error coin, it's worth getting it looked at by a professional. So what's the current market like? As of now, collectors are willing to pay top dollar for high-grade 1956 no mint mark wheat pennies. A regular circulated coin might only fetch between 5 to 20 cents depending on its wear and color. But if it's a clean, shiny red uncirculated specimen, you're talking hundreds, or in rare cases, several $1,000s. And as we've mentioned, the highest confirmed sale of this coin has reached up to $7,983. It's also important to note that coin values can fluctuate based on demand, auction competition, and even metal prices. The copper content alone in older pennies is worth more than face value, but collectors aren't just after the metal. They want rarity, beauty, and history. So what should you do if you find a 1956 no mint mark Lincoln wheat penny in your pocket change, an old piggy bank, or tucked away in a coin jar? First, handle it with care. Try not to touch the face of the coin with your fingers. Use gloves or hold it by the edges to avoid getting oils on it. Then, examine it under a good light. Look for sharp details, original color, and any signs of doubling or errors. If it looks promising, consider getting it professionally graded. That small investment could turn your 1-cent coin into a payday worth thousands. To wrap things up, the 1956 no mint mark Lincoln wheat penny is more than just a piece of copper. It's a slice of American history. It reminds us of a time of growth, optimism, and post-war pride. And for collectors, it's a prized piece, especially in high grades or with rare errors. So go ahead and check your change, your jars, your inherited coin collections. Because one of these humble-looking pennies might just be the key to a 4-figure surprise. Thanks for watching, and if you found this video helpful or fascinating, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We've got more rare coin deep dives coming your way. Until next time, happy hunting, and may your next penny be worth a fortune. Today, we're diving deep into the story of a very special coin that might be hiding in your collection, your drawer, or even your pocket change. We're talking about none other than the legendary 1957 Lincoln wheat penny. This iconic 1-cent coin from the United States is more than just a simple piece of copper. It's a hidden treasure that collectors across the globe are eager to get their hands on. With the current market value soaring as high as $5,992, this little coin has become one of the most surprising and sought-after pieces from the mid-20th century. So make sure to stick around till the end of the video to find out exactly why this coin is worth so much, and how you might be able to spot one in your own collection. Let's begin with a bit of history. The Lincoln Wheat Penny was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It was the first time a real person had appeared on a regular issue U.S. coin. The wheat design, with its iconic twin wheat stalks on the reverse, became an enduring symbol of American coinage until it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. But in its final years, especially in the 1950s, the wheat penny continued to be produced in large quantities, and 1957 was no exception. In 1957, the Denver Mint produced an astonishing 1,051,342,000 Lincoln cents with the D Mint mark. That's over 1 billion coins. So you might be wondering, if so many were made, how can one of them be worth nearly $6,000 today? Well, the answer lies in the condition of the coin, the rarity of certain die varieties, and the growing demand among collectors for high-grade, well-preserved examples of this coin. Most of the 1957 D Lincoln cents you'll find in circulation are pretty worn out. They've passed through countless hands over the decades, lost their sharp details, and suffered the effects of time and handling. But the few that remain in pristine condition, especially those that have been graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC as Mint State 67 or higher, are incredibly rare. These top-tier examples show full luster, sharp strikes, and not a single distracting mark on their surfaces. Now here's where it gets exciting. In recent years, a number of extremely high-grade 1957 D Lincoln Wheat pennies have been sold at auction for impressive amounts. One particularly stunning example, graded MS67 Plus Red, fetched a jaw-dropping $5,992. That's right, nearly $6,000 for a coin that originally had a face value of just 1 cent. And these values continue to rise as more collectors enter the market and the supply of high-grade coins remains limited. But it's not just about condition. There are also rare era coins and varieties that make some 1957 D wheat pennies even more valuable. Keep an eye out for doubled dies, repunched mint marks, and off-center strikes. These kinds of errors can significantly increase a coin's worth. For example, a 1957 D with a clearly visible repunched mint mark could be worth hundreds, even in lower grades. Combine that with a sharp strike and attractive coloring, and you could be holding a coin worth thousands. Let's also talk a bit about what to look for if you want to identify a potentially valuable 1957 D penny. First, check the color. Coins graded as red RD are worth more than brown, BN, or red-brown, RB. Next, check the surfaces under good lighting. Are there any scratches, marks, or signs of wear? If the coin looks perfect to the naked eye, it may be worth having it professionally graded. A coin with full details in Lincoln's hair and beard, clear wheat stalks on the reverse, and a strong mint luster stands a much better chance at reaching the high MS grades collectors are looking for. Now let's address a common question: should you clean a 1957 D penny to make it look newer? The answer is a big no. Cleaning a coin destroys its original surface and can actually reduce its value significantly. Collectors prefer coins in their natural, unaltered state. Even a slightly toned but uncleaned penny can be worth more than a shiny, cleaned one. So resist the urge to polish it up. If you think it looks promising, send it in for grading instead. You might also be wondering, how do I know if my 1957 D penny is worth anything close to $5,992? Well, as we mentioned before, only the very finest examples reach that kind of value. Most circulated 1957 D pennies are worth between 2 cents and 50 cents. Uncirculated examples in lower mint states can go for a few dollars. But the key is finding one in immaculate condition or with a rare error. That's where the real money lies. So the next time you're going through your old coin jars, checking out garage sales, or browsing through coin shows, keep your eyes open for the 1957 D Lincoln Wheat Penny. Look for that sharp D mint mark just below the date. Inspect the coin for luster, clarity, and any signs of error. Because you never know, you might just stumble upon a rare and valuable gem that could be worth a small fortune. In conclusion, the 1957 D Lincoln Wheat Penny is a prime example of how something so small can carry so much historical and monetary value. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone who just loves history, this coin represents a remarkable piece of American culture and numismatic heritage. And with the current market value reaching $5,992 for the right specimen, it proves that even a humble penny can make a big impact. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more rare coin stories, and drop a comment if you have a 1957 D penny in your collection. Who knows? You might just be holding on to a treasure worth thousands. Until next time, happy collecting and stay curious. Today, we're turning our attention to one of the most iconic and collectible coins in American numismatic history, the 1958 D Lincoln Wheat Cent. Yes, you heard that right. A simple penny from 1958, minted in Denver, could be worth thousands of dollars today. Some examples of this coin have been sold for as much as $3,999, and today, we're going to uncover exactly why. Let's begin with a little historical background. The Lincoln Wheat Cent was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure, and it replaced the Indian head cent that had been in circulation since 1859. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the Lincoln Wheat Penny became an instant favorite among Americans. It featured Lincoln's right-facing portrait on the obverse and 2 wheat stalks on the reverse, symbolizing national prosperity. This classic wheat design was produced until 1958, making that year's coins the final issue in the long-running Wheat Cent series. The 1958 D Lincoln Wheat Cent was struck at the Denver Mint, which is indicated by the small D mint mark just below the date on the obverse side of the coin. That year, the Denver Mint produced an enormous number of these coins, over 800 million in fact. So at first glance, it might seem unlikely that any of these would be valuable. But here's where things get interesting. While most of the 1958 D pennies are very common and worth only a few cents to a few dollars, there are rare varieties and pristine condition examples that command serious money in the collector market. What makes a 1958 D penny worth thousands of dollars? It all comes down to a combination of factors: rarity, condition, mint errors, and demand from collectors. Let's break it down. First, condition plays a major role. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70 by professional services such as PCGS or NGC. A coin that is graded MS67 or higher, meaning it is in mint state and virtually flawless with full original luster, is extremely desirable and rare. Most coins, even if uncirculated, fall below this threshold due to minor blemishes or weak strikes. But a true gem quality 1958 D wheat penny in MS67 or MS68 condition can fetch thousands of dollars at auction. Next, let's talk about mint errors and varieties. While the 1958 D itself doesn't have a famous double die variety like the Philadelphia minted 1958 penny does, there are still examples with minor errors such as die cracks, off-center strikes, or repunched mint marks that add value. Collectors love these anomalies because they are unique and add a layer of intrigue to an otherwise common coin. In particular, one of the key reasons a 1958 D penny might sell for a price close to $4,000 is because of its impeccable preservation. In recent years, coins graded MS67 plus red by PCGS have sold for very high amounts. The red designation is important. Copper coins like the Lincoln Cent naturally tone over time, often turning brown or reddish-brown. A red coin means it has retained nearly all of its original mint color and shine, which is very rare for coins that are more than 60 years old. For instance, a 1958 D Lincoln Wheat Cent graded MS67 plus red by PCGS sold for an impressive $3,999 at a major auction. This kind of price is not just about the coin's age, but the fact that it has survived in such pristine condition against all odds. Most of these coins entered circulation and were used for everyday purchases. Only a small fraction were preserved by collectors in mint condition, and even fewer have remained untarnished enough to earn the red designation. Now, let's talk about what you should look for if you want to identify a valuable 1958 D penny in your own collection or coin jar. First, check the mint mark. Make sure it has the D for Denver, and then closely examine the coin for signs of wear. If it looks like it has never been used, sharp details, full luster, and no visible damage, there's a chance it could be worth grading. If you suspect it's in exceptional condition, it's worth sending to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. Their certification adds authenticity and significantly increases the value if the coin receives a high grade. Also, pay close attention to the color. A bright, copper red appearance is a strong sign of potential value. Avoid cleaning or polishing the coin, as this can actually ruin its surface and lower its grade. Coins must be in original, unaltered condition to receive top marks from grading services. So what does this all mean for you? Well, it means that the humble 1958 D penny sitting in your drawer might be a small treasure. While most are worth only face value or slightly more, a few outstanding examples are worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And even if your coin isn't in perfect condition, it's still a piece of American history and part of a beloved coin series that ended in 1958, making it a collectible in its own right. Collectors across the country are always on the lookout for top-tier wheat pennies, and demand for Lincoln cents, especially the final year wheat reverses, remains strong. If you're just getting into coin collecting, the 1958 D Lincoln Wheat Cent is a perfect example of how something seemingly ordinary can turn out to be incredibly valuable. To summarize, the 1958 D Lincoln Wheat Penny is more than just a copper coin. It's a final tribute to an iconic design. It represents an era of American coinage, and in the right condition, it can be worth as much as $3,999 today. So check your pocket change, coin rolls, or inherited collections. You might just be holding a little piece of history worth far more than 1 cent. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the past. If you enjoyed learning about rare coins like the 1958 D Lincoln Wheat Penny, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into valuable coins you might already own. Until next time, happy collecting and keep hunting for those hidden treasures. Today, we're diving deep into a coin that looks simple on the surface but could be hiding a fortune in your change jar. We're talking about the 1958 No Mint Mark Lincoln Wheat Penny, a coin that's part of American history and, in some rare cases, worth thousands of dollars. Yes, you heard that right. While most of these pennies might only be worth a few cents, some rare versions have sold for as much as $12,833. Let's explore how and why. First, let's go back in time to understand the roots of the Lincoln Wheat Penny. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure and not a symbolic image like Lady Liberty. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse of the coin proudly features President Lincoln's bust, a design that remains largely unchanged even today. The reverse design, which includes 2 wheat stalks encircling the words 1 cent and United States of America, gave the coin its nickname, the Wheat Penny. The 1958 Lincoln Wheat Penny marked the final year of the wheat reverse design before the U.S. Mint transitioned to the Lincoln Memorial Reverse in 1959. That alone makes this coin historically significant. It's the end of an era, the last of the classic wheat design, closing a 50-year chapter in American numismatics. Now, let's get into the details of the 1958 No Mint Mark Penny. This coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally did not use a mint mark on its coins at the time. Over 252 million of these pennies were produced, making them fairly common at face value. So, what makes some of them worth so much more? The answer lies in the coin's condition, rarity, and in some very special cases, minting errors. If you're lucky enough to have one in uncirculated condition, especially graded mint state 65 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, the value begins to climb quickly. A regular 1958 penny in average condition might be worth only a few cents, but a flawless one, with bright red luster and no scratches, can easily fetch hundreds of dollars, and in rare cases, over $1,000. But here's where it gets really exciting. In the world of coin collecting, a handful of 1958 pennies have shocked collectors by selling for incredible amounts, and the top examples are fetching up to $12,833 at auction. That's not just hype. These coins were professionally graded, authenticated, and sold in major numismatic auctions. Their high value comes from their pristine condition, known as full red mint state coins, combined with their scarcity in such high grades. Let's talk about what coin graders look for. The redder and shinier the penny, the higher the value. Over time, copper oxidizes and turns brown, so finding a red coin from 1958 that looks like it just came out of the mint is extremely rare. Graders also check for sharp details in Lincoln's hair, cheek, and coat, as well as in the wheat stalks on the reverse. No scratches, nicks, or smudges. Just flawless copper beauty. Another major factor that can skyrocket the value of your coin is an error, and the 1958 Lincoln penny has one of the most famous errors in all of coin collecting history: the 1958 double die obverse. This is not your average double die error. It's a dramatic doubling of the date and the inscriptions, Liberty, and In God We Trust. The doubling is very visible to the naked eye, and only a few authentic examples are known to exist. One of these rare error coins once sold for over $100,000. While it's not the same as the regular 1958 no-mint mark penny, it's still worth keeping an eye out just in case you have a variety you never realized was valuable. Now back to the regular 1958 no-mint mark penny. What's the current market telling us? Well, as of this year, collectors have paid up to $12,833 for a single coin in exceptional condition. That's the absolute top price paid at auction for this type. These high-value sales are typically for coins graded MS67 red or higher, and they are rare, but they do exist. If you think you have a coin that looks promising, it may be worth getting it professionally graded. Even if it doesn't hit the $12,833 mark, you might still be holding on to a piece worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So, where do you find one? Start with your own pocket change, of course. Also check old coin jars, inherited collections, estate sales, flea markets, or antique shops. You never know when you'll stumble upon one of these little copper treasures. And don't forget to look for red coloration, sharp details, and signs of doubling on the text or date. Let's talk care and storage. If you think you've found a valuable Lincoln wheat penny, avoid touching it with your bare hands. Use cotton gloves or hold it by the edges to prevent fingerprints or oils from damaging the surface. Store it in a coin flip or an airtight holder to preserve its condition. And definitely consider having it graded by a reputable third-party grading company, because that's the only way serious buyers will be confident in its authenticity and condition. In conclusion, the 1958 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny is more than just a 1-cent coin. It's a piece of American history and a potential jackpot if you have the right one. While most are common and worth just a few cents, the rare few in pristine condition have reached jaw-dropping prices, with the highest reported sale hitting $12,833. Whether you're a new collector or a seasoned pro, this is one coin that definitely deserves a closer look. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful or interesting, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a rare coin alert. And if you have a 1958 penny in your collection, tell us about it in the comments. Who knows, you might be sitting on a hidden fortune.